to the drafting. So, one more example. Our competition, when I deliver the message in our introductory section in many schools this year, I always emphasize on the triple bottom line. That means social, economics, and environmental. Okay, but some students ask me, should I really need to address to environmental issues? The answer is not necessary. Okay, but the most important part is the double bottom line, means social return, social missions, and also the business return. Because if you don't have business return, no way. Okay, you cannot sustain and survive. But if you don't have a social mission, there's also no way, because you are not addressing to a social problem or mission. But environmental problem, sometimes, this may be part of your social mission too, because if your social venture is targeting on some saving energy, environmental technology, then you may also involve in that area. Okay. So, but I use the example of double bottom lines, means elaborations, input, labor, investment. This process means the products or services, and output is the profit. And through the output, you go into another input, the social one. So, actually, doing a business, you need to do the business first. So you need to develop profit from the business, right? You need to have profit. But after you have a profit, you will not spend the profit. Or during the profit making process, you also develop a process of how to build a community development programs or a kind of education program in your village. And then you don't spend the money, and you use the profit to generate an income for other community programs, and also reinvest to your community. And then you go into the output of increase in productive assets. Productive assets means maybe increased number of children who have better educations, increase the living lifestyle, living standard of the village, and so on. So this is a map I copied from the venture in development. So the Ventures in Development is a holding company of a social ventures called SHOKY, S-H-O-K-Y. SHOKY is created by Marie So. Marie So is very famous from Harvard. She developed this social venture 3 to 4 years ago, and it's very successful in the world because she really can help some village citizens in Yunnan, Shangri-La regions of the Yunnan, China, to help them to get a better price of their cattle finishing products, about some of the woolen products, the wool from the cattle, and to develop some cheese made, homemade cheese products from the cattle, and then increase their living conditions and education, and also avoid the unfair pricing between the middlemen and agricultural citizens. So, and the beauty is this social enterprise is only run by the two ladies in the very beginning. At least in the first 1.5 years, the two ladies just traveled to China many times. They are American-born Chinese, I think, but they can speak. One of them can speak very well Cantonese, and one of them from Taiwan, and they just operate this by their hands. So they get their hands dirty and live with the citizens there a long time, and then help them to improve their community. So we all respect ventures in development. We recognize them as very successful and very passionate social enterprise in the world, and they are Chinese. And the second understanding of a social enterprise, besides the input and outputs, is a kind of a social enterprise spectrum that you can also need to understand. This spectrum is developed from a professor called Gregory Dietz. Gregory Dietz is a very famous professor in social enterprise. He nearly created every theory that we are now studying since 1996. And he's based in the US. He's still a professor in Center for Social Entrepreneurship, and his theory is he tried to compare purely philanthropic and purely commercials, and divided by 5 particulars like motives, beneficiaries, capital, workforce, and suppliers, and you can see a difference here. Like for purely commercial, you can see motives, most of them are economic value creation. But in purely philanthropic, we have social value creation. So as a social enterprise, you need to balance and have a bit in between. As a hybrid, that you need to balance both social and economic returns. And for beneficiaries, you need to address the problem of if philanthropic, you don't charge people for service, okay? Because we rely on subsidized subvention funding for service. So most of the time, the customer, they will not pay anything to you. So, but for business, everyone needs to pay. So how to become a social enterprise that maybe a subsidized way or a mix of scheme, that how to engage your customer, maybe someone pay for them or they pay half, or how can they afford that? Now, but actually, you can also have a more creative thinking that maybe your customer is not the beneficiary too. In this area, beneficiary means those under 50 people that we need to help them. But do they need to really pay for that? Some social enterprise model, they will find some the middleman to pay for the services for the under 50, and under 50 don't need to pay, or they need to pay half. So someone may subsidize. Like in Brazil, a spectacle glasses like this one, manufacturers, designers, they develop two lines of products. One is very luxury spectacles for selling in the city, but they also sell very cheap, nearly $1 or $2 of spectacles for the community of rural villages, because they are so poor they cannot afford to buy a pair of glasses. But if they don't have a pair of glasses, how can they work? So you need to help them. So that company really subsidize them by selling a very luxury glasses in the city and use some portion of the revenue and then subsidizing the village. And people are very happy for that, because if you are affordable to pay high price, you don't mind. I pay higher price and use my money to help the people. Okay, so this is quite a successful social enterprise in Brazil for many years, and people will use other people's money to do that. So you can be more creative in developing anything. So just address to capital or work or volunteers or market rate compensations or mix or suppliers, donations, supply food donations or food market price purchase or a discount price or even a collaborative swapping. We have been thought about swapping products with other people. Like Disneyland, every year they have a lot of products that will be dumped away, disposed, donate to other people every year, a lot of products. So some lady, they try to make up a logistic solution. Imagine you are Disneyland, you have a lot of toys that will be dumped away, disposed, and you are a logistic company, okay? You are DHL. So I'm the guy who mix and match. I'm engage Disneyland, give me the toys that you will want to dispose. And DHL, please help me to distribute the toys to China. Okay, and you just do me a favor because you have a lot of capacity. Okay, every big